Thank you very much. Good evening to you all. It's my pleasure to have this interaction with the Artisans Association of Ghana. For me, artisans are the bedrock of development in any country. So the health and well-being, it's a very, very important to me. So I am privileged today to have this very interaction. Our topic is the health and well-being in the era of COVID-19. And I think today's discussion is going to be look at health and what is well-being and what we're supposed to do even in this COVID-19 and beyond. Because it's very, very important that the health of each and every artisans would give this country the development that we're looking up to. When we talk about the health, we are looking at a very broad area of a person. That is the state, the physical, the mental, the social well-being, not just the absence of disease as stipulated by WHO in 1947. So it is important that we look at our physical, our mental, and our social well-being. As artisans, we are also concerned that our occupational safety is very, very essential. It is not only the presence of first aid activities. And today I would want to also remind all artisans that at least you should have a first aid point in your settings, in your workplaces. But this would also involve at least some policies and practices that would help employees and employees from injuries or becoming ill due to hazards or from their workplaces. So the very things that we use to prosecute the works that we engage in. We should understand that in occupational safety, we are supposed to do it such that what we're doing, we can actually complete the process and actually offer some services to the general public. And again, our safety is very, very much paramount. So we must think about our PPEs, the personal protective equipment, i.e. the glasses, the welding glasses, the utility gloves, and all other equipment that would enhance our work so that we would remain very healthy and unharmed. Because you would have an artisan actually working, and before you realize, the person will lose the finger or would have a metal would hit the feet, and maybe the person would have a severe injury. We need to have knowledge about these things so that we can actually stay healthy. When we talk about our wellness or well-being, we are basically looking at an effort to stay healthy and achieve the highest potential of one's living. So it means that what we are doing, we are supposed to enhance our living by being very healthy. And that process of having that consciousness and to also do the things that would enable us to be very, very healthy constitute what we call wellness. And this is also stipulated in the the Sustainable Development Goal 3, which talks about health and well-being. So it means that as artisans, we must actually keep in focus and in mind that we need to stay very healthy and well-being. When you talk about wellness, it has about 7 components that at least every artisan should have in mind. That the components are so critical that we are supposed to stay healthy when we adhere to these 7 components. First, we are looking at our physical health. When we talk about physical health, daily activities or daily activities of daily living. What are the things that we do daily that we are able to do very well? Sometimes if you are not able to do the daily activities, it is also a sign that something is going unwell in you. So our physical health, we need to look at our daily activities, what we are able to do that enhances our physical fitness. And in physical fitness, we are looking at exercises. Quite often people would say that I do physical activity. Yes, but let us have time to do a programmed physical activity aimed at improving our health status. And that is what we call exercise. And indeed, we must be concerned. As artisans, as you are working, you need to ensure that at least you eat your breakfast, you take your lunch, and you take your supper. Sometimes because of the nature of the work, you leave all these things. You not take your breakfast, and then you take your supper, or you not take your lunch, and then you take your brunch or something of that sort. It is not healthy. The more you continue to do that, then you are actually compromising your health. When you're working and you get home very late and you eat so heavy a diet, then it is also putting so much cholesterol in your body, and that is also not going to be very healthy. So we need to ensure that we have a very body size and shape that is very, very the best of it to enhance our health. When you talk about physical health, one of the things that we must also look at is that do we even at times go to the hospital to see our doctors for some review of our medical status? Not at all, because the fact is that we are taking and thinking about only the work and only the work. So the physical activity and the physical health is very, very important. The next is our social health. Our social health is very, very important. Our interpersonal relationship, even with our customers, how to adapt social activity and social situations. Quite often, as an artisan, you're going to work, you're being in the traffic, you must exercise some restraint. Either than that, you put so much pressure on yourself. So your social health is very, very important, and it is so paramount to your general health. We are looking also about our intellectual health, our ability to think constructively. As artisans, you are using your minds to do the thinking, to do the calculation every single time. You must also try to upgrade yourself whilst you do objective reasoning. Engage your brain so well, and so that you can have the brain power. As you do that, you read documents, you have an association, the association will be having some bulletin. You need to ensure that you are abreast with modern techniques and modern trends of your profession. That is also very, very important, and it helps you to build up your health as well. Our emotional health is very, very important, my dear people, because we need to have self-esteem. In this country, people don't even recognize that it is the artisans that are the engine of our development. And I think that we must actually hold on to that. Because if you are building a house, all the money that people are mobilizing, if you're working in a bank, you're doing, there is a trap door, it is an artisan who comes to do it. There's a plumbing work, there is an electrical fault, it is an artisan. So we need to ensure that we have self-confidence in the very work that we're doing. Anger, let us minimize our anger in this so that we can protect our health. Quite often you get angry on a very simple thing, it is not healthy. As artisans, we are also looking at our environmental health. We need to ensure that the work that we're doing, we appreciate the external environment, we preserve and protect it, that the very work, we don't destroy the environment in which we are living, because the environment, sustainability of the environment, a clean environment is also healthy to our living. We must also understand that our spiritual health is very, very important. Your relationship with your creator through reading of religious books, either the Quran or the Bible, whatever document, the Vedas, if you are a Buddhist, whatever religion that you believe in, you need to ensure that there is some prayers, there is meditations, there is singing, there is fellowshipping. You need to ensure all these things are embodied in the spiritual health, and it helps you to have a very, very healthy person, as a healthy person. Our occupational health, and this is having satisfied your work, and then also what kind of progression do I have, and do I think I cannot actually get into as a professional. That if you are an artisan, today I am doing a building, what am I going to do? I'm going to, in the next 5 years, I should have a real estate company. You should keep some of these things in mind, and it helps you to actually have a very, very healthy person. It makes you a very healthy person. These components are the ones that we talk about, the what we call the well-being or the wellness. So in wellness, we have 7 different components that I want each and everyone to keep in mind. That you talk about occupational health, spiritual health, environmental health, emotional health, social health, and the physical health. If we are able to adhere to all these things, it will help us. Fellow artisans, I think that we are also looking at the ergonomics. Ergonomics has to do with our environment, the environment that we work within, the discipline, the capabilities, and the limitations of people. This applies to the workplace, that our workplace environment, the materials that we are using, the tools, and all the things that we have that ensure that we are able to actually satisfy the work that we are supposed to do. In this COVID-19 era, I think that it is important that we look at the practices that would enhance our health. Indeed, coronavirus, I think most of you might have heard about what you're supposed to do in case of when you're talking about coronavirus. It is a novelty virus that has actually emerged in the world, and I think in Wuhan. But now it is in Ghana. We must actually know what are the causes. I mean, it's caused by a virus that we all have read and might have heard. It is one of the organisms that causes diseases. But what are the symptoms? We might have heard about some senior doctors talking about it's fever, high-grade fever, coughing, fatigue. You have some myalgia, that is pains in your muscles, sore throats, anorexia, that is unable to eat. All these things we are there. And then again, when your temperature is extremely very, very high, that is above 37 degrees or 37.5 degrees, then you are having fast breathing, all these things. My dear artisans, what to do if you experience any of the symptoms? First and foremost, you need to stay home. And whilst you are staying home, you need to call the 122 and visit the nearest health facility, or as soon as possible. Stay calm. Don't be panicked. I think that is the problem that we are facing. People get panicked when they hear of this COVID-19. You need to keep just a distance from the people that you are staying with, so that at least you don't, if in case it becomes positive, you don't even infect the people around you. The preventive protocols, I think it is important. We are using the PPEs. We have a lot of PPEs that we use, as I did mention earlier on. But the face masks that we are supposed to wear, we need to have it. And hand hygiene. Hand hygiene is very, very important. That is the frequent washing of our hands under running water. We must adhere to that. And then we should ensure that we use the sanitizer as and when we are also, we do not have the water available to us. Fellow artisans, I think as my time is running up, let me just quickly talk about the healthy practices that I would want us to keep in mind. Our frequent medical checkups should be very, very important. If at least once in every year, we try to go to our physicians, the hospitals, for them to check us. Regular exercises of about 150 minutes a week is very, very ideal and is very healthy. And as I've said, exercises is different from the physical activity. You need to avoid smoking. If you are smoking, it is something that you need to at least avoid, possibly get out of smoking. You need to, if you want to drink alcohol, then it should be on moderate levels. But if you continue to take too much alcohol, you may get something that at the end of the day you will not like. You could get some liver cirrhosis and other things that you need to sleep between 7 to 8 hours. This is very, very important. I keep saying, the 24 hours that you are supposed to work, 7 to 8 should be remain with as you sleep. Drink about 8 glasses of water. Water therapy is very important. You should adhere to this and try to become adapted to your living. That every day take 8 glasses of water. Keep your brain engaged every time and day. As I've said earlier on, we need to do constant reading, constant interaction. We need to ensure that what is new in our profession. Engage your brain. Eat good diet and breakfast, lunch, and if possible, your supper. The supper is not as important as the breakfast. I've said it earlier on. If you skip your breakfast, and breakfast starts between 5 to around 8:39, if you skip your breakfast continually, then of course, you're going to have cholesterol in your system, and that is going to affect your life, and it's going to affect your heart's functioning, and that is going to be a challenge for you. You need to eat well, eat a lot of fiber food, minimize fats, and then minimize salt in your diet so that you stick to these things. When you continue to do this and you eat very well, you are actually making sure that you have longevity, because food is medicine and your food should be your medicine. You should also take in a lot of fiber. Please, you need also to take in a lot of fruits and vegetables. Vegetables are very, very important. If you are diabetic, then of course, there are certain kinds of fruits that you can't actually take. And of course, if you are also an ulcer patient, there are certain kind of fruits like the lemon and then the oranges, the citrus, and it's very, very difficult for you to take. But you need to eat very well and healthy. The fiber food, you take in a lot of water. It is very, very important as you eat very well. Do not avoid breakfast, as I've said earlier on. It is only on religious grounds that you can avoid breakfast, and of course, if you are fasting, that you are actually doing it on religious grounds, because I've said earlier on that you need to pray, you need to do fasting, you need to do a lot of things. You need to reduce your stress level, because the more stress that you have, and of course, you are actually putting yourself in danger. When stress becomes too much, some level of stress is very, very important and it's good. But when stress becomes too much, then of course, it is also going to affect your overall well-being. So try and minimize stress. Take your personal safety measures. Very important to lessen the risk for avoidable accidents. I'm fellow and my brother artisans, we have to live long. Life expectancy in Ghana is between 58 to 62. But I think that as artisans, if we adhere to the very things that I've mentioned, and then we stick to it, and we practice it, and it becomes part and parcel of us, we are supposed to have optimum health. And when we have optimum health, we would actually live longer and we will become great professionals in future. I would rest my case here, and perhaps if members would have some questions to ask so that we can actually deepen the interaction. I thank you very much for the opportunity, and good evening to you all in your respective homes.
Good evening, Doctor. Thank you so much. So, my brothers and sisters, if you have any question, please, let's have it quickly. This is just a beginning. We'll be doing this often, and we'll have more time. From now, we'll be having 2 hours time, and maybe another 3 hours if the time comes. So let's make the question quickly, and we'll close today's lesson.
Can I ask Doctor something?
Sure.
Yeah, Doc. I have listened to you very carefully, and I've realized that for lack of time, you have boxed everything up, but I've gotten you so clearly. But I want to ask something. You know, there's a lot of anxiety in the system because of what we have been advised to look out for as symptoms of COVID. It's giving us a lot of problem. I sit down, I get a little headache, I get worried. I get a little fever, I get worried. I used to cough usually, but now when I cough, I am worried. What are the number of symptoms that adds up to give you a clear indication that you have COVID? Because these are some of the symptoms that are regular with us. Even before COVID came, we were getting fever, we were getting headache, we were getting body pains, we were getting all that. But what must add up to give you that clear indication that you may have the COVID and you must seek medical attention, because you cannot go to hospital every moment you get headache or you get a little fever, you get, we are used to this. And as artisans, these things are very normal with us.
Well, thank you very much, Chairman. As I said, the first thing is that your temperature. When its temperature is very high and temperature above 37.5, you have that. Then you have cough, consistent cough. The cough should be commonly dry. Sometimes maybe productive, and that is when there is some speaking that comes out. It becomes very fatigued. You're having bodily pain. That is, you have joint pains, and then you have sore throats. You notice that you're developing also shortness of breath. That you, as normal being, your breathing is very, very active. You can breathe in oxygen and then breathe out carbon dioxide. But when you are having difficulty in breathing, it's also another sign. You're getting nasal congestion. Then of course you are losing your ability or your senses to smell, and that is also something that you need to actually be a bit careful about, because anosmia and then hyposmia, that is loss of smell and all those things. When you begin to have these things, again you will lose appetite, that you don't feel to eat. In some cases, you have some diarrhea. It is also there, then you need to actually watch out and possibly and seek for a medical attention. The challenge is, yes, like you're saying, because of this environment and this COVID-19. So even when somebody coughs, then people are just getting worried and that is why we are also saying that the stigmatization, we need also to reduce the stigmatization. It could be that you have, even if you have this the COVID. Yes, these days the recovery is very, very good. It's very high, unlike other diseases like Ebola, which is in other places, which happens, it is not okay in Ghana. The COVID is by and large, the recovery rate is so good. So those people shouldn't be so much afraid and panic. When you come across the very symptoms that I've mentioned, then of course you probably need to seek medical attention.
So, who again?
I'm very satisfied with your answer, except one. Am I supposed to pull a score sheet and say I've scored average and that I'm above average, low average? So, because you see, the problem is all the things that you have mentioned, you may be having either one or two. That's where my problem is. You may be having one or two of the things you have mentioned. So which ones are the highest indicators takes you to the consent for COVID? Is it the temperature? Is it the cough?
The temperature,
is it the body pain, or what? What are the high?
Yeah, the temperature is one, persistent cough.
Okay.
And then of course, when you have loss of smell, if you are able to sense or smell something, it's also an indication. And then if you have difficulty in breathing, at least these four should give you something. That something is really wrong. But it could also be that the person is having difficulty in breathing, but the person may be an asthmatic patient. You see, so that is why what we're saying is that when you notice multiple of these symptoms, what you need to do is to call a facility or call the 112 line. And I think they would attend to you. The municipal health directorate would attend to you, and I think it will be taken care from that point. Because nobody can say that one is having COVID except that the test has been done. Without a test, that is why some people have had the symptoms. The test was done; it was negative, and to a large extent, many of the symptoms that I've mentioned. But when the test was done, it was negative. So it could happen. Like I said, people with asthma could also have a similar problem, and so they're having the difficulty in breathing. They will have all the things and coughing. That's the main thing is that when the temperature is consistently very high, and then fatigue and then loss of smell and then difficulty in breathing, these are very cardinal.
Okay, Mr. President, are there questions from our artisans? If not, I have another question for Doc.
Okay, so
are there any questions from the artisans?
I have a question. Here.
So you ask your question, then we can go.
Hello, I'm here. I have a question.
So, Mr. Chairman, we are listening.
If there are questions, it should come.
Yes,
Mr. Chairman. Chairman, we are listening.
Yeah, my question has to do with the stress level. Doctor was saying something that we shouldn't be too much stressed, but better still, there should be an amount of stress. I want to know the difference. Which level do you have to reach that you know that you are stressing yourself too much, and which level of stress is good for the body?
Well, that's good. That I did mention that you need to
exercise.
reduce your stress levels. Yes, you work for some days. At least you should have a day that you are able to set back and then do some reflections and meditation. You don't need to do so much work and then the very contracts that you are engaging in, and then every day, Monday to Sunday, Monday to Sunday, Monday to Sunday, and then you close very late. In that regime, it is not healthy for you. At least you should work for a number of days and have a particular day that you can set aside to either have your rest period, and then also once in a while you try to go to a recreational area such as maybe the beaches or a place, a football pitch, and so that you get yourself a bit relieved. These are things that helps us to have our health very much in the optimum level. But as in Ghana, the challenges are that the jobs you are not even getting some, so you think that okay, the ones that you have you need to do, but you must also appreciate the fact that you need to live longer to be able to do it. I said the minimum, you need some level of stress to achieve certain things, because if you do not have some level of stress, you will not be anxious, you will not even be ambitious enough. As human beings, we want to be ambitious. I work in my facility, I go to other places, I also go to the assembly for certain meetings, but I do have time that I feel that let me go to training, and then I do the exercise for about 1.5 hours, I play football, and my colleagues and so forth and so on, former footballers. That is the kind of thing that you need to employ. Even sitting down and then relaxing, it is also very good that you distress yourself. These are things that you need to inculcate into your lifestyle. And when you're able to do it, it will help you to distress yourself, that you don't put so much stress on yourself. Because when stress becomes too much, then there's a likelihood cholesterol also building in your system. And then the likelihood of you getting heart diseases, and the likelihood for you to reduce your lifespan. So that is why I said some level of stress is very important. But you need also to have activities to distress yourself.
All right, thank you.
I know we are having more questions. So this is not just the end of the program. Our time is getting late. So we'll ask if there's any question again, then we can take one question, please.
Any artisan with a question? Mr. President, is there any question from the artisans?
Someone agrees.
Any question from the artisans?
Okay, if they don't have, can doctor just give us a quick understanding of this? I've been hearing some word, I've been struggling with my mouth how to pronounce it. It's symptomatic, all this medical jargons. What are they? Because as you are saying, you may have a high temperature, you may have coughs and all that. Maybe when you are at a certain level, your temperature may not be high enough for you to get the indication that maybe you have COVID. but then you belong to any of the jargons that I'm struggling to mention. So what exactly should we be looking out for so that maybe I'm not getting the temperature, but maybe I can still maybe having the COVID? Is it the case? Is it possible that I may not run the temperature, but I may have the COVID at the same time?
Yes, this question has been quite often asked, but it's a cardinal symptom. So if the person is asymptomatic, then it means that the person's temperature is always down. What happens is that it also depends on everybody's immune system. Somebody can be infected with COVID, and within the 14 days incubational period, of course, will show the symptoms. But somebody would also go through and still be very, very normal. You will not see all the symptoms that we have mentioned. That is the differences of human composition and genetic composition. Those ones are quite difficult to understand, but it's human. Some people have it. Yes, they would not show the symptoms, and yet they would have it.
Okay, but it goes to say that whether you are not having the same, you are not showing the temperature and all, but you both have the same incubation, or some incubation period, we have different incubation period as well.
No, the incubation period is always 14 days.
Okay.
The incubation period is 14 days. But somebody may have it, and the person, even within the 14 days, or after the 14 days, will still be very, very normal, very healthy. Another person would have it just within the 14 days, the person would just break down because the temperature would have skyrocketed to almost 39 and all the things are shown on that person. And as I said, it differs because of the immune system. People's each and everyone's immune system and the way they are able to cope with any disease. I mean, as I said here, there are people who might have had the disease and did not even go to any facility, and yet they have recovered. And those ones, the figures that the Ghana Health Services might not are putting out, they may not be able to actually capture them because the person might have had it, did not go to any facility, nobody did the test, but yet the person's immune system, the food that the person ate,
so yes, recovered.
The things that the person did, finally the person recovered. It's like common cold. People have common cold. They don't go to a hospital, but they leave and then the common cold after 2 days, the person recovers. It happens. Because all of them, especially when the cold is a viral infection, it could happen in that way. The person will not take any medicine, will not do anything, and the person will recover because of his immune system.
Okay, thank you. Mr. President, can I ask a last question?
Last question, okay.
Yes. And Doc, you know, when we had chicken pox, or we had some of these diseases in the past, and it goes away, they said we have developed antibodies, and so our body sort of cannot be affected again. I had chicken pox actually 2 times. The first chicken pox was so severe I broke down, but the second one I had was very mild, and I thought that they said when you have it, you can't have it again. So what is the similarities with some of these diseases as against the COVID? Can I recover and get reinfected? And if I can get reinfected, how soon can I get reinfection?
Yeah, you can be reinfected. Yes. When you get it and then you are tested negative, yes, you are healthy, but you can be reinfected. That is why there's a need for us to actually adhere to the very things that would enable us to live. Because when you get it, when you infect it, and then you are treated or whatever you procedure that you go through and you get recovered and it's tested negative, you are still susceptible that if you open yourself to, you can be reinfected. There is no, now that the scientists, we are still reading, everybody is reading about it to find out whether what he's saying, for instance, that is the perception, but there is no scientific basis to that. And when you have the disease, you develop an antibody or a system that will actually be very, very strong enough to do not get infection. It can reinfect you. So what you need to do is that whether you be tested positive and then tested negative, what you need to do is to adhere to the protocols so that you don't get reinfection, or even you don't get it at all. You don't get infection at all. That is the most important thing.
Oh, thank you, thank you,
Okay,
thank you, thank you,
thank
thank
you,
you.
Chairman. So I
Yes,
ask my
thank you.
last question, then we close.
How
How
do
do
we
we how do we boost our immune system?
Thank you very much. I think first and foremost, like exercise. I did mention about exercise, and I explained the difference between exercise and physical activity. Exercise also is an immune booster, so we need to adhere to that. That at least some 30 minutes once or thrice a week is very, very important. That we do physical activity plan program, very, very important. Our diet, very, very important. The food that we eat, we need to ensure that we are eating food that is very healthy. We eat foods that contains a lot of vegetables, a lot of fruits, food that contains a lot of fiber. We eat food that is very, very healthy so that we don't compromise our immune system. We are supposed to ensure that some vitamin C is also very, very important. That you can take vitamin C 3 times, 1, 2, 3 times a day. It is also very good and immune booster. It also enhances your immune system. But to be honest with you, you need also to drink a lot of water, as I said, because even if you have the COVID, if the particle might have dropped into your mouth and you drink water, it will then flush it from the buccal cavity into the nasal, into the gastrointestinal, and that is it, the GIT. When it gets into the GIT, it cannot survive. It will actually be denatured. So it is important that we drink a lot of water. And then we need to have adequate time to rest. Sleeping is very, very important. If you're able to do all these things, and then we ensure that our sleeping time is always a particular time. I know as artisans we have a lot of work to do, but let us try to program ourselves so that whilst we do all these things and the time that we sleep and the time we wake up, all these things will enhance our immune system so that we can survive the test of time in this COVID-19.
Doctor, can you mention some of the foods that we can eat to get there? Because the president even give us some of the local food that we can eat.
The bokoboko, the alefu, the dawadawa, the local, or what they call the natural spices. All these things are very good. The garlic, they are all very healthy. That whilst we are our meals, we should add all these things. It is important that we add these things to our diet in this very era. And then, of course, if you are having vegetables, you're having some leaves, the cabbages, lettuce, cucumber, all these things are very, very healthy that we should actually spend our time to eat. If you are eating some banku with stew, and then you have some fish which is used to prepare. It is very, very good. You have some bokoboko in the okra soup. You have even if you are preparing palm nut soup. Palm nut soup. I would always say that yes, palm nut soup is quite good, and then you add some bring the palm nut soup. It is very, very healthy. You are taking groundnut soup, and you should ensure that all these things are part of the diet that you take, so that you don't need to be eating only one thing. I know artisans. I remember when I was after my secondary school days, I used to join one mason to go to do some job, and that time you only take one kenke and kenke and kenke. But I think that yes, even if it's kenke with some shito, with some grind pepper, with your fish, those things, you take it in the morning. Again, another area that we shouldn't compromise is that even if we are eating, we should eat timely. Breakfast, lunch, and supper. Don't be eating in between. That you eat in between, it is not healthy. It will also reduces your your health status. Always ensure that you eat timely, and it should be 5 hours intervals, because within 5 hours, the food might have gone through some kind of movement from the areas that to the stomach, and then possibly to the duodenum, and of course it will help you. So let us eat timely, let us not eat in between, and let us drink a lot of water. Don't also get tested before you drink the water. You should have developed a kind of attitude that you are always taking in water, and as you do that, it is very, very healthy for your immune system and your general well-being as a person.
Thank you so much, Doctor, for your comment. And I want to ask a question from the artisans. How often do you people want us to have these classes so that we can program it? Just give us. How often?
I think on weekly basis will not be bad, because of the era in which we are. If you have this on weekly basis, it will be okay.
Someone is on weekly basis, okay.
Yeah. Then the timing. If you can put it on weekends, because on weekdays like this, most of the artisans are at work and they are working. Most of them may not get the time to attend this meeting. So if it's on weekend, or better still, the time can be pushed ahead, maybe after 7. Most of them has gotten home, and then they can partake in this. I think it will be helpful to all of us.
Thank you. Anyone?
All right, so I would like the chairman to close us for the day.
Well, thank you, Doc. I don't know whether you've given us more than enough, though. But just for closing remarks' sake, do you want to have one line of final advice from you?
We want one line from you.
Oh, thank you very much, Chairman.
One line of final advice.
I'm so grateful tonight to have this interaction with the artisans. As I said earlier on, you are the pinnacle of development. Artisans are, and your health is very, very important. Our health is our wealth. That if we are able to adhere to the very basic principles and basic practices, we would live longer, so that we can serve our respective country, and we can also serve our families, and then we can serve our generation as well. Because everything that we're doing, we ought to be healthy to be able to do it. And for us to be healthy, we ought to take it into our own hands, that our health is not in anybody's hands. Doctors can do their best, but I want to say today that if we are able to take our health in our own hands, that is where we're going to live longer. And when we live longer, we would serve society the best. I thank you very much for this opportunity.
Thank you, Doc. Artisans Association is very grateful to you. I'm very certain that the few artisans who had the opportunity to listen to you have benefited enormously. Myself, I had lots of questions to ask, and I've gotten an opportunity to ask you. In fact, after the program, I'll call you later and ask further questions. So we are very grateful to you. You mentioned something that was very keen to my heart, the issue of anxiety. It's one of the problems that is draining a lot of people and causing a lot of stress for them. So I will take this opportunity to encourage our members that they should not listen to too many bad news. There are too many bad publicity for this COVID. And so it is creating a lot of problem for us. But they should sift through the information, and they shouldn't be listening. In fact, somebody sees one small thing. Somebody died yesterday of COVID. Somebody is being, don't be following those news. There are accredited news agencies that give us information. The Health Inspectorate Division of, the Ministry of Health, and the regular update they give to us should be more than enough for you. Stop scrutinizing your email, your WhatsApp, and listening to all sorts of news that are very depressing and making it look as if COVID is the end of the world. It is not like that. Like Doctor said, we should not panic. We should not panic. We should take this thing that come to us, the information that come to us, and seek appropriate redress from where we can get it, and stop panicking. I think time is fast spent, and we're very grateful to the Secretariat of the Artisans Association of Ghana and the President and all the team that has made this thing possible for us to have this webinar meeting. We thank you all for all your contributions, and we hope that, as the President has reiterated, he's asking for our input as to when we want to have the next webinar. We will take a decision after this one, evaluate what the responses are and how you people responded to this meeting, and we'll take a decision. But we will make it as regular as possible and as interactive as possible as well. But I wasn't happy with the input and the fire from artisans. We're not hearing you. I don't know how many of you have hooked on to this discussion. I want that the next time the host will speak less, the guest will also speak less, and then you guys will ask more questions, and then the host and the guest will be able to answer your concerns for you. Thank you very much, Mr. President, and thank you all for participating. Thank you.